You want to know the worst trait a man can ever have? That's to be a coward. Cowardice is the worst trait by far in all of the different traits that I've looked at in myself and in other men. That has to be the worst. Because when you're a coward, you can't be trusted. Can't be trusted by anyone. You'll literally give somebody up. Like, I don't want to have cowards around me. I don't want to have friends around me. And I don't say this from a point of elitism or anything like that. I used to actually be a coward. I grew up a coward. So story time, right? So when I was young, I used to never, ever, ever want to be alone. I used to be scared of the dark. This was when I was super, super young. Like from when I was born to like, honestly, up to 10 years old. Did not ever want to be alone. Was a coward. Grew up sheltered by my mom. Everything was just like soft. And regardless of how hard my dad would go on me, regardless of how hard my grandfather would go on me, I was just a soft, cowardly kid. And it continued that way over time. And the one time where I stopped being a coward was actually when I had the urge and I had the desire to be a part of my junior high basketball team. I wanted to do it, but I was always a coward. I didn't want to go do challenging things because what if they made fun of me? What if they laughed at me? What if this? I gave a fuck too much. I cared about what other people thought all the time, right? Always was sensitive about it. I was a coward. Only cowards care about what other people think, right? And I remember when I got cut from my 8th grade basketball team, that was the moment where the cowardice that I had started to just completely shatter. I still had remnants of it over time. I remember I cried in my room. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to go to school because I would get embarrassed. People would start laughing at me. People were telling me I was never going to make a team. I was never going to be anything in basketball. Granted, the following year I turned up. The following 3 years I went crazy because of that edge, that feeling of having the cowardice trait that was dominating me my whole life basically melt in front of me because I already did the thing. I already put myself in a risky situation. Risky to me, maybe not risky to you listening to this right now, probably doesn't even register. Or maybe you have experienced something like this where when you were in school, you tried to play basketball, you tried to play a sport, and it was a big deal at that school. And if you got cut, you were gonna be a laughing stock, right? And you don't know how you get your dignity back. I had guys laugh at me left and right. I felt like I was nothing. Darkest place, one of the darkest moments of my early childhood. But being a coward is so bad. And I give you that story because men nowadays are cowards in everything. Hesitant when it comes to pulling the trigger on decisions that need to be made. They can't make a decision on their own. They need somebody else to make a decision for them. They can't live their own life. They can't go do what it is that they want to do. When you're a coward, you're incongruent because everything you do is not truly what you want to do, but you feel like you can't. You feel like there's something holding you back. And you know what the biggest fear of a coward is? When we look deep, deep, deep into like the psyche of a man with that disgusting trait, it's death. You're afraid to die. You're afraid to die spiritually, and you're afraid to die physically. When I say spiritually, what I mean is a lot of you are scared to destroy your old selves. You're a coward. You're afraid to destroy the old version of you to make space for that new version of you to work. I talk about this a lot in my Identity OS course that I have. If you want to check that out, link will be in the description. It's very, very good. But you have to be willing to burn and kill the old version of yourself. That's the only way that you'll make a transformation. So that's what I mean by spiritually. Like the spirit of a man is rooted in his identity. If you cannot, and most people are afraid of that because they're afraid of losing the friends that were tied to that identity. They're afraid of losing even the woman that they were with, that they are with, that is tied to that identity. Not knowing that to level your life up, you need to get rid of that and go into another thing. A man who's not a coward is always shifting his identity, is always shedding, is always killing his old self, killing all the negative versions of himself. He doesn't get attached to anything. Cowards are attached to everything. Have you ever seen a man who's a coward? He's just attached. Always has to have people around him. Can't be in solitude. Can't be quiet. Can't be in his own thoughts. I used to be like this when I was a kid. Couldn't be in my own thoughts. I'd be scared. Couldn't sleep in my own bed. Would sneak into my parents' room and sleep under their bed. Because I was afraid of the dark. I was afraid of myself. And over time, it was the same thing. Right? There was even a point, man, I remember I was in a relationship. And I think there was like some raccoon or something like this. This is why I'm saying being a coward even sucks when it comes to dating and relationships. A woman won't dry up faster than when you are a fucking coward and when you display that cowardice in real time. We saw a raccoon, right? Raccoon that was just walking into the terrace of the place, or the entrance of where we were living. This huge raccoon. She was like, oh, there's a raccoon. What do we do? And I was like, and this is coward me, right? Shit, I don't know, but you should go first. I've never seen a woman dry up so fast than after that. I won't even tell you. Like, this was years and years ago. Won't even tell you, bro. All from the root of cowardice. I didn't want to go first because what if? And again, the root of that cowardice is death. I don't want to die. I don't want to end everything. So every action that I take is around that. It's either spiritual death or physical death. Those are the two root causes of why a man is a coward. I resisted doing martial arts, doing kickboxing or boxing or anything for a long time. Why? I was afraid to get hurt. Coward. Hesitated every time. Someone would be like, bro, you'd be really good at it. Instead, I chose bodybuilding, which was another cowardice move, because bodybuilding is a pageant. You flex a little bit, you know, you do this, you do some moves, you do some posing, you spread your lats. That's bodybuilding. Pageant. Easy. No threat of death. You can say, oh, steroids. I didn't take steroids. So there was no threat. Fighting is always a threat. But here's the thing, right? You might be saying, Martel, how do I get out of this cowardice state? Because I feel like I'm a coward based on everything that you've been saying. I mean, that is me. I always hesitate a lot. I always get afraid of certain things. I try not to tell anybody, but it's true. Internally, I feel afraid. I always feel like I'm attached to things. I don't even trust myself. You know, the coward doesn't trust himself. If he doesn't trust him, how can you ever trust a coward if you're not one? You know what I mean? So how do you destroy this cowardice? Well, you have to go through a mindset shift, which is what I did. You have to understand that death is inevitable, that death is actually a good thing. I know this is going to sound extreme. I'm not afraid to die. I'm not. That changed my whole entire perspective on strength, honor, not being a coward. When I finally understood that death was the best thing that could ever happen to me. It gets dark. It gets dark. I love the idea of death. Meditate on death all the time. I meditate on, I'll be fine. Because I know my time on this planet is going to be so impactful that when I die, that's going to be the end. That's going to be the last breath that I take. Because my mission is complete. Wherever it is, whatever age it is, whether it's 100, 60, 50, I don't know. But I don't give a fuck about death. You want to know what's interesting? When you see people who care so much about, like, oh, car accident here, plane crash here. Oh, I can't do this because what if this happens? What if this happens? You know what's funny? Every single time somebody does that, it always tends to happen to them. The guy who doesn't give a fuck about dying, who isn't scared of shit, never has these things happen to him. It's always the person who's afraid and tiptoeing and shit that always attracts these negative things to occur, that always dies early. The guy who smokes cigarettes, chain smokes that shit, will live till 95, 100 years old. But the person who was hesitant, oh, I can't do this. Oh, this is going to kill me. This is going to give me cancer. Just dead early. Why? Stress. Attracting shit like that. Attracting negativity because you think about that shit all the time. See, when you don't care about death, when you don't even think about death, nothing happens. Everything's simple. All the decision making is easy. As a man, it's important to not give a fuck about death. A lot of men nowadays are afraid to die. It's the last thing that I care about, death. That'll be the greatest experience of my life, I'm sure. I don't know when it'll be, but it doesn't matter. So every decision that's being made now is rooted in the fact that death doesn't even fucking matter. You welcome it. You smile at death. You know how insane you have to be as a man to smile at death? That's the level of mindset that I have now, where it's a joke. This is why I can't be the modern day Christian. Because the modern day Christian makes death such this big thing where you either go to hell or you go to heaven, and most likely you're going to hell because you fucked up at some point in time. But God forgives you, this and that, but still could go to hell. You put so much importance into death that you end up dying early, bro. So many people from my church that I used to go to in New York have been dead from some sort of illness, some sort of health ailment, something, dead early. All of them, because they were all afraid of dying. I don't give a fuck about death. It's great. And a lot of people, even if you don't believe in the idea of heaven and hell, which to be honest, I don't believe in it the same way that any Christian does. I think it's a state of mind. I think you can live in heaven and you can live in hell on this planet. I don't think when you die, you're going to fucking go to hell or you're going to go to some golden gates and live in paradise forever. I don't believe that that's how that works. Could be completely wrong. Don't know. Don't care. We'll get there when we get there. I will be the best version of myself and help as many people as I can in this lifetime. That's all that matters. But I don't give a fuck about death, though. And that's what makes a brave man. Someone that does not care about dying. Does not care. They will do so much more than the man who cares a lot. You can trust that man so much more if he's not a fucking coward. If I sense an inkling of cowardice in somebody, I don't fucking trust them. And typically men who are cowards are hyper emotional. I absolutely don't trust hyper emotional men whatsoever. I don't. I can't. Cannot. Because that means that all of their decisions are based on emotions, which means if they're feeling one way for some strange reason, they could betray me. So no, I don't like emotional men whatsoever. Overly emotional, hyper emotional, because we all have emotions, but to be hyper emotional, and those men tend to be scared of dying. But that's what I learned, man. It's the worst trait a man could ever have is being a fucking coward. And not doing the shit that you're supposed to do. Because you're afraid of what other people think, or you're afraid of dying, or you're afraid of failing, or you're afraid. Always fear. Fear is the number one reason why you're not where you want to be. That is the number one opponent that you need to kill and destroy as fast as humanly possible is fear. And the fear that scares people the most is death. At a very root base level. Then it's fear of judgment, fear of being casted out. There's fear with shit like that. But the root is death. That's what transformed my whole entire mindset. I'm telling you, I was a pure coward when I was young. Pure coward. To the point where my mom was laughing at me. My dad was like, fuck, this kid didn't come from me. Good thing I kind of look like him. Craziness. And to conquer fear, you have to put yourself in scenarios that are uncomfortable multiple times. I've put myself in scenarios where I was uncomfortable physically. I was uncomfortable with fighting, right? It's an uncomfortable feeling when you're fighting, 100%. You're not in flow right away. You get a lot of anxiety and you get a lot of fear even before a sparring session, bro. It's crazy. Physically, right? Mentally, I've literally put myself through a fucking pressure cooker mentally. Challenging my beliefs, challenging everything internally. Financially, bro, I've been wiped to zero, damn near big negatives, in the huge negatives, clawed my way out. put myself through a lot of fucking risk. Building a company, having that shit collapse in my face. Risk. We talk about socially, right? Social risk. Doing whatever the fuck it is that you want to do in public, regardless of what anybody thinks. I've done that. Dress the way I want to dress. Be who I want to be. Say what it is that I want to say. I don't give a fuck. Spiritually, it's the last one. Killing the old version of myself multiple times. Rebuilding my identity to skyrocket my results in everything that I've fucking done. You think this YouTube channel came from nothing? You think this shit just popped up, was chance? No, I went through an identity shift when I first started. That is why I grew fast as I did, with the simple format that I use now. That is why I can speak so eloquently on camera and I can present myself and I have the presence because I'm congruent, and also I've shifted my identity to be the man who can do this, to be the man who can command your attention for a long period of time and have you watch even this far. Shifting the identity. Again, that's a fucking valuable course. I don't even like shilling courses like that. I got it. It works. I've given it to people. It's changed their life. You should get it. Literally nothing. Cost a fucking lunch or a dinner. My process of how I did it. But that's the core, man. You cannot be a coward in this day and age as a man. You will lose every time. You will lose with women. You will lose with friends. You will lose with yourself. You will lose, if you believe in God, with God. Because God does not like cowards. Whoever you think God is. It make you to be a fucking coward. What? And embrace death. It's just coming anyway. Smile at it. Wave at it. Welcome it. Hey, come on. You'll start to see it try to run away from you. It's just like, this motherfucker's crazy. Don't want to be around him. Gotta go. But if you're scared of death, it's like a dog, right? You're scared of a dog, it's gonna run after you. You stand up and you look at the dog and you invite it to come challenge you. It will hesitate, it will stop, and it might go the opposite direction because it's like, what the fuck? Who the fuck is this beast? That's how you have to live life. Don't be a coward, fellas. Be brave. Don't hesitate. Make decisions faster. Transform yourself. Don't be afraid to burn yourself down to the ground and rebuild it and literally burn everybody else that was associated with that old version of you. It's one of the coward things that men do that keep them from being who they need to be. So I hope this was valuable for you. Again, links will be in the description if you want to tap in with me. If you want to work with me one-on-one as well, silently opening it up, you can fill out the application in the link. I will get to you when I get to you. I only work with a few people at a time. It will be one-on-one with me. It will be direct access with me. It's not going to be cheap because what the fuck? It's my time. It's my energy. You're getting my energy. You're getting my time. You're getting my guidance, masculine guidance. It's pricey. There's other things that you can get that are dirt cheap for me that might get you some results. But if you want deep results from me and one-on-one access to be close to me, right? On my phone, hitting me up whenever you need my help. Link will be in the description. I only work with people who have built something in their life. You cannot be at complete zero. If you're at complete zero, there's not much I can do to help somebody who's at complete zero because a lot of that shit is here, right? A lot of it's here. Actually, a lot of it's here for everybody. But when you're at a complete nothing, get a job, bro. You gotta just get a job. But if you've built some things up, maybe you've built a business, or maybe you're at a decent place in your career. You've maybe built your physique. You've done these things, but you're missing that edge. Maybe your relationship's falling apart. Maybe you just need to break through the revenue ceiling that you have. You're only making X amount. You want to double it. You want to triple it. I can help you with that. All it is congruency, fellas. And identity, masculine identity. So again, I appreciate you and I'll catch you on the next video.